des amis sont venus me proposer de me faire évader pour aller me faire dormir ailleurs. J'ai dit non. Il ne sera jamais dit que Gbagbo était un fuyant et qu'on l'a arrêté ou qu'on l'a abattu. Non. Si Gbagbo doit tomber, il tombera dans la maison où il travaille.
Je commencerai par une déclaration solennelle que je fais au nom du gouvernement français et du président de la République, M. Jacques Chirac. Il n'est absolument pas dans l'intention de la force licorne de renverser le président Gbagbo. Le président Gbagbo représente un gouvernement légal, élu au suffrage universel, et la présence de la force licorne aujourd'hui dans Abidjan a uniquement pour but de rassurer et de sécuriser la communauté expatriée, qu'elle soit étrangère ou française.
Après l'impasse des négociations autour de la crise ivoirienne, la médiation de la dernière chance est confiée au président du pays le plus puissant sud-africain, Thabo Mbeki.
We were asked by the African Union and ECOWAS to intervene, to assist in terms of trying to find a resolution to the Ivorian crisis. The critical thing, in our view, was first of all to get a proper understanding of the nature of the Ivorian crisis. And to do that, it meant we had to talk to everybody.
Quand Thabo Mbeki approche la crise ivoirienne, on sent que c'est quelqu'un qui vient d'un pays qui a connu l'injustice, qui a connu la souffrance, qui a connu l'apartheid.
Once we got a clearer picture of the nature of the problem, we could understand how difficult it would be to enter into compromises. If you take, for instance, the matter about Alassane Ouattara and his possibility to be a candidate. I knew about this problem before the presidential election took place, when President Bedier was elected and Ouattara couldn't run. I knew about the problem because he had come to see me when he was still at the IMF to explain this problem. And I'd spoken to President Bedier about it, to say this was going to cause a problem.
At that stage, he did not know President Gbagbo very well, but he said to himself, this is an African brother, I'm going to talk to him openly, honestly.
If you take, for instance, President Gbagbo, he's a member of the FPI. He had to make sure that the things he says and the things he does would enjoy the support of the FPI, but they did not all the time. But then he had to take into account what is in the interest not of the party, but what's in the interest of the country, of the people of Cote d'Ivoire, and take the necessary decisions. Or you get the Guillaume Soro, who would tell me that, look, I agree with what is being said, but I also want to confess that I do not have the capacity to carry all of the rebels. So I'm going to be in problems, but because this is about the future of Cote d'Ivoire, we have to go ahead with this. So the things that we proposed were in fact not original to the mediation. They came from the Ivorians themselves. And you see, we were insisting on that because in the end, the only way any settlement would be able to survive and be implemented, survive, and provide a lasting solution would be if that settlement came from the Ivorian people themselves. It would not help if, as mediator, we think we've got clever ideas and we say this is what we think Cote d'Ivoire should do, and all of these people don't like this.
Mbeki arrive à Abidjan le 9 novembre 2004 et ce dont il est témoin l'édifie sur le rôle de la France en Côte d'Ivoire.
The French had taken over, for instance, Abidjan. So they were in control of the airport. They were in control of the road from the airport into the city. They were in control of the bridges in Abidjan. They were in control of the Hotel Ivoire. And so they were deciding what should happen. So they did not want us to come. We said that we had an appointment with the President of the Republic and that we had an obligation to meet, to honor that appointment because we had been asked by the continent to act as mediator. And so we told the French that no, we were coming in order to meet President Gbagbo on the day that was agreed. And that we would land at Abidjan, we would have to, and drive into the city. So in the end, they said, all right, they agree, we should come. So we went.
Quand il a vu les soldats français tenir l'aéroport d'Abidjan, tenir les 2 ponts d'Abidjan, ça l'a mis hors de lui-même. Mais il a gardé son sang-froid parce que pour régler la crise, il fallait garder le sang-froid. Et il est méthodique, mais déterminé et anticolonialiste, anti-impérialiste à souhait.
There was a threat of a confrontation between the French soldiers who were in the Hotel Ivoire and people were demonstrating outside the hotel to stop those troops from attacking the presidency. So we discussed that with President Gbagbo to say that there was a danger here, that many people could get killed. And so President Gbagbo said to me that they would be ready to send people to the Hotel Ivoire to persuade the Ivorians who were demonstrating there, to persuade them to leave. And in return, French troops should leave the Hotel Ivoire and go and occupy another hotel further away from the presidency. Well, that required that I should speak to the then President of France, President Jacques Chirac, to make that suggestion. So I did speak to him while we were in Abidjan. So we agreed to that with President Chirac. And so, of course, I went back to President Gbagbo to say, no, I've spoken to President Chirac and we've agreed that they will evacuate the Hotel Ivoire. But before that, the Ivorians, the Ivorian demonstrators then should be persuaded to leave. So that was agreed. So at that point we left. This was just before we left Abidjan to come back to South Africa. So we then left with that agreement, go to the airport, only to find when we arrived at the airport, we then got a report that in fact the French troops had opened fire on the Ivorian demonstrators there and killed people.
I was born by the river in a little town, and oh, just like that river I've been running ever since. It's been a long time coming, but I know a change gonna come. Oh, yes it will. It's been too hard living, but I'm afraid to die. I don't know what's up there beyond the sky. It's been a long.
Le peuple de Côte d'Ivoire a l'air de s'amuser, d'être grincheux, de se plaindre toujours. Mais dès qu'il y a une situation difficile, où la Côte d'Ivoire est touchée dans son essence propre, le peuple est toujours debout. Et c'est pourquoi je suis fier des Ivoiriens. Restez mobilisés. Parce que c'est un mauvais coup pour nous essayer, mais nous gagnerons. J'ai reçu ce pays avec 322 000 km². Je le rendrai à mon successeur avec 322 000 km².
On a number of occasions I've been in Abidjan and Yamoussoukro. You would find invalids, people on wheelchairs, sitting outside the hotel and asking for assistance. To the extent we can, of course, we do assist, but the important thing about that was that all the times that we would meet them, they would communicate the same message to us, that the country, Côte d'Ivoire, is itself an invalid because of this crisis. And therefore, what we expect from you, President Beg, really what is necessary is that you must assist for Côte d'Ivoire to recover, because Côte d'Ivoire itself is like ourselves. We are sitting here on the wheelchairs. We are also invalids, but please, you must do this thing for us.
When President Beki said to him once, early on, to say, I'm taking you to Burkina Faso. You are coming with me to Burkina Faso to meet President Compaoré. I could tell that it caught him by surprise. But because he's pragmatic and he trusted him, he said, okay, my brother, I'm coming with you to Burkina Faso. And that was the beginning of the mending of relationships between Côte d'Ivoire and Burkina Faso. And President Compaoré was very gracious also. President Bek says, I'm flying to your country, but I'm bringing President Gbagbo. And he was also a little surprised, but was very, very magnanimous and gracious. So he told me that, because President Bek really threw this at President Gbagbo, just like that. But President Gbagbo, pragmatic. So they share a passion for Africa. They are very practical people.
Je dis souvent que le temps, c'est l'autre nom de Dieu. Rien ne peut résister au temps. On est arrivé à un moment où les héros sont fatigués. Les héros étant fatigués, quand j'ai fait une proposition de paix, une proposition win-win, gagnant-gagnant, bon, on accepte. Je veux dire que dans des discussions, il ne faut pas chercher à humilier quelqu'un. Quand on voulait négocier avec lui, nous avons pris cette précaution. Et puis, il faut prendre comme facilitateur quelqu'un à qui, celui avec qui vous voulez discuter, a confiance. C'est ce que nous avons fait aussi.
Quand tu lèves, qui pourra rabaisser? Si tu lèves, qui pourra rabaisser? Je serai la tête et jamais la queue. Je suis béni parmi tous mes frères.
Si hier, nos turpitudes nous ont conduits à la guerre, aujourd'hui, notre détermination commune doit nous construire la paix. Il y a un temps pour tout. Le temps pour faire la guerre, un temps pour faire la paix. Un temps pour se battre, un temps pour se réconcilier. Un temps pour prendre les armes, un temps pour les déposer et les brûler.
Peuple de Côte d'Ivoire, la guerre est finie. Répétez après moi, la guerre est finie. Encore que j'entende bien, la guerre est finie.
Once the crisis took place in Côte d'Ivoire, immediately had an impact on a whole number of countries in the region.
Côte d'Ivoire is a very important country in West Africa. It has the biggest economy in West Africa. It supports quite a number of countries. It hosts many residents of the different countries in West Africa. It's a very, very strategic country.
And it's quite clear that if you solve the crisis in Côte d'Ivoire, it will have a positive impact on a whole number of countries in the region. Again, I'm talking about a Côte d'Ivoire which is committed to this vision of the transformation of the continent, of the renewal of the continent, of the renaissance of the continent, in a manner that really changes the lives of the ordinary people for the better.
Ce combat qui est mené ici en Côte d'Ivoire dépasse le cadre ivoirien, pourrait être intéressant pour le continent africain et pourrait être intéressant pour tous les démocrates.